against the Epicureans and academics. Even people who deny that statements can be valid or impressions clear are obliged to make use of both. You might almost say that nothing proves the validity of a statement more than finding someone forced to use it while at the same time denying that it is sound. If, for instance, somebody were to deny that there is anything universally true, obviously he would have to make a statement to the effect, "Nothing is universally true." Don't you see the contradiction? It's the same as if they were to say, "If any truth is universal, it is false." Or, if someone were to say to you, "Know this, nothing is knowable, everything is in doubt." Or, "Trust me on this one, you'll be glad you did. Nobody but nobody can be trusted." Or, "You learned it here first, my friend. There is nothing capable of being learned. I not only tell you this, I'll prove it to you if you like." So, how, to get to the point, are these so-called academics any different? They say, "Believe me, everyone, nothing can be believed with any certainty. Be certain of this, you cannot be certain of anything." Epicurus and the Hedonists are the same way. In his effort to expunge the natural goodwill that men have for each other, he demonstrates the principle that he aims to destroy. This is what he says: "Don't be idiots. Everyone, refuse to be fooled or misled. Rational beings have no natural goodwill toward one another. Believe me, anyone who says different is trying to trick you and lead you astray." Well, why do you care? Let us be tricked. After all, you won't be any worse if all the rest of us are convinced that goodwill towards one another does exist by nature, and that saving or preserving, not destroying, is a primary obligation. Actually, you'd be much better off and more secure. So why, my friend, do you concern yourself with us, burning the midnight oil and rising at dawn to write those interminable books? Is it because you're so worried that one of us might be misled into thinking that the gods actually care for mankind, or mistake the essence of the good for something besides pleasure? Because if that's the case, drop everything and go to bed. Make like the animal you've judged yourself to be, and eat, drink, copulate, defecate, and snore. The views of others on the important questions, whether right or wrong, should hold no interest for you. What are we to you anyway? Now, sheep, of course, you have an interest in, inasmuch as they allow themselves to be shorn and milked, and ultimately led to the slaughter. Wouldn't it be nice if human beings, tranquilized and sedated by Stoic doctrine, could likewise submit to you and your kind to be shorn and milked? You should have reserved your teachings for your fellow Epicureans and Hedonists and kept them out of the hands of us Stoics. Instead, you should try and convince us that nature intends us for fellowship and that virtue is a good thing, so that you can keep everything for yourself. Perhaps this sociability should be extended to some, but not others. Who deserves it? People who reciprocate it, or people who hold it in contempt? And no one holds it in more contempt than you who make such a distinction. What urged him to get out of bed and write the things that he wrote was, of course, the strongest element in a human being, nature, which subjected him to her will despite his loud resistance. "Since you hold these asocial opinions," she told him, "write them down for others to read. Lose sleep in the process. and by your own behavior betray your own doctrine. A vine cannot behave olively, nor an olive tree vinely. It is impossible. No more can a human being wholly efface his native disposition. A eunuch may castrate himself, but cannot completely excise the urges that, as a man, he continues to experience. And so Epicurus removed everything that characterizes a man, the head of a family, a citizen, and a friend. But he did not remove our human instincts, and could not, any more than lazy academics can dispose of or negate their own senses, although most of their energy has gone into trying to do just that. It's too bad, really. Nature gives a person rules and guidelines to discover the truth, and instead of trying to complement and improve on them, they devote themselves to impugning and rejecting the least little thing that could assist them in the effort. Tell us, philosopher, what you think of piety and devotion to the gods. I will prove it's a good thing if you like. Yes, prove it, so that our citizens may turn and honor the divine, and put an end to their ambivalence about matters that are most important. Well, are you armed with the appropriate proofs? I am, thankfully. Well then, since you're satisfied with them, here come the refutations. The gods do not exist, and even if they exist, they do not trouble themselves about people, and we have nothing in common with them. The piety and devotion to the gods that the majority of people invoke is a lie devised by swindlers and conmen, and if you can believe it, by legislators to keep criminals in line by putting the fear of God into them. Nice job, philosopher. You have rendered the citizenry a valuable service by rescuing youth already dangerously liable to hold the gods in contempt. What? You mean you don't care for those particular ideas? Just wait now. I'll prove that justice is nothing, that honesty is stupidity, that being a father means nothing, that being a son means nothing. That's good, philosopher. Keep it up, and win over the young people, so that we'll have more with the same feelings and beliefs as you. It's these opinions that produced our well-regulated cities. Sparta owes its existence to such ideas. What a travesty. What are you doing? You prove yourself wrong on a daily basis, and still you won't give up these idle efforts. When you eat, where do you bring your hand? To your mouth or to your eye? What do you step into when you bathe? When did you ever mistake your saucepan for a dish, or your serving spoon for a skewer? If I were a slave to one of these philosophers, I would taunt him constantly, even if I got a beating every day in consequence. If he said, "Put some oil in my bath, boy," I'd go grab the fish sauce and pour it over his head. Pardon me, I received an impression, identical, indistinguishable, I swear to you, of olive oil. Bring me the cereal. I'd bring him a cup full of vinegar. Didn't I ask for cereal? Yes, sir, this is cereal. It's not, it's vinegar. Why vinegar any more than cereal? Well, here, smell it and taste it. How do you know if the senses don't deceive us too? Give me 3 or 4 fellow slaves in on the game, and I would make him either renounce his way of thinking or hang himself in exasperation. But in fact, it is they who are making fun of us, by enjoying all the resources that nature provides, while trying to discredit them in their philosophy. What they lack in gratitude, they make up for in gall. But what is the point in trying to refute one of these philosophers, or arguing with them, or trying to alter their opinion? You'd have a better chance persuading someone to change their sexual orientation than reaching people who have rendered themselves so deaf and blind.